Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to 1,000 Pound Best Friends Review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we begin. I'm not sure what's going on with my 1,000 Pound Best Friends reviews. My numbers are down, and I'm wondering if it's because the show is down. I gotta be honest, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it because the only person who I find myself interested in their story at this point is Vanessa. And that is because the two new people that have been added to this show, I was hoping would be people that I could find myself rooting for. But as of right now, I am not rooting for them because they are playing games. There are many other people who would have loved to be given the opportunity that these individuals have, not only being on this show, but probably getting paid for being on this show and having a lot of their medical care taken care of. With that being said, why are you wasting the opportunity? Why are you playing around? Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as I try not to fuss in this review the way I did in 1,000 Pound Sisters. It's just a night for me to fuss. So we are back with Scott throwing a tantrum in the hallway because his mom snitched on him. He comes back into the office saying that he's sorry, but he just gets defensive when she points out what he's doing wrong. But he wants her to know that he's not eating 10 string cheeses anymore, which based on the previews for next week looks like it's a lie. So Dr. Proctor says, look, you guys can talk about all that later. What I need you to understand is that your mother is telling me these things because your mother is worried about you. She's probably been worried about you for years. She is the one who goes to sleep at night and probably worries whether or not you will wake up or not. There's a bigger picture here, basically. He says, look, you tried for these 2 months, but you tried halfway. So what I want to do is I want to see you in another month. And the 15 pounds that you were supposed to lose needs to be gone. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set you up an appointment up with the psychologist. I don't understand whether or not this is his first appointment with a psychologist because the way that their introduction was, I feel like it was. And if it was his first time, I would like to recommend to Dr. Proctor that he has all of his patients see his therapist, see his bariatric psychologist before he even considers approving them for surgery, because a lot of this is more mental than anything else, and that's clear when we get to Tina. So Scott meets up with the ladies for lunch to talk about, how he didn't meet his goal, right? So Vanessa sits down for 2 minutes. She's not even there for 2 minutes before she announces that her surgery is tomorrow. And she's really ecstatic about it. And we get flashbacks showing that all her tests 2 weeks ago came back and that the surgeon says that even though, it's going to be a complicated procedure, that he can do it. Their response, however, makes me feel like they already knew. At least I hope they already knew, because if they didn't already know, they didn't seem excited enough to me. They do say that they're happy for her, but I just know, me personally, I would have been more excited if my friend is telling me that something that's been weighing her down for well over a year, that she's been afraid that she couldn't get cut off, is now going to be gone. So she says that the only thing is that she found out that she can't have sex for 6 months, but she says she's going to try after 2 weeks. Okay, Vanessa, do you realize how serious the surgery is? That you're going to have internal stitching and you're going to have stuff that's done on the outside, internal and external, that you're not going to want to have anything going up against you like that. And then I said to myself, who's doing it to Vanessa? Is the guy is the guy from the speed dating and her, have they met up? Like, what's the story? Because why are we sitting here even talking about this? Like, I would think, me personally, that would be the last thing on my mind. And if you can't have it for 6 months, go get a toy, girl. So we see them sit down and order food, and the other ladies don't. But Scott gets an appetizer and it's guacamole, but it's not any type of guacamole. It's loaded guacamole. And Vanessa is like, mm-mm. And she doesn't hesitate to let it be known that she does not approve of the choice of guacamole. So Megan's like, guacamole is not bad. Avocado is good in moderation. And what he gets is not moderation. So she's like, we're talking about food. How was your appointment with Dr. Proctor? And he starts talking and he's like, I weighed in and I lost 15 pounds. And Vanessa's like, yeah, you lost 15 pounds in a month. Da, 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 da. And he's like, she's like, you lost 15 pounds in a month. Yeah, woo. And he's like, I lost 15 pounds in 2 months. And Vanessa's like, 2 months? He starts making a bunch of excuses on why he wasn't successful. The same stuff we heard at the doctor's office, the same stuff we later hear in the therapist's office. So Vanessa tells him that one of the things that he needs to start doing is he needs to work on his portion control. Because if he's been working on his portion control, that alone would have made the number larger. She said you would have went from losing 15 pounds to you would have lost 45 pounds. Vanessa then is outside with Ashley and she's pissed. And she's like, he's lying to us. He's saying all these things, but he's lying to us. Yeah, he's walking. Yeah, he's swimming. Yeah, he's exercising. But she says, and he's still doing this. He's leaving out that part that he's still doing this. So Ashley says, here's the thing. Not only is he lying to us, but he's lying to himself. And that's the part that makes her upset. I think that they've all lied at various points, but they should call him out because they've been there before. And why not help him not go down some of the same path? Megan tells him, you have a problem with portion control. Try to change, it to eating things that are more healthy. That way, if you go over the portions, it's not as bad. Vanessa says, stop telling us what you're going to do. Because he starts talking about what he's going to do. She's like, stop telling us what you're going to do and do it. Just do it. So Ashley then says a little something to him too. So he's like, he tells us that he feels hurt and he feels worthless because he's being called out. And he feels like they've been in the same position that he's been in. So they should just support him where he's at. He walks outside and cries. Or should I say he makes sobbing sounds. I'm on the fence about Scott because I want to feel bad for him, but I listen to what he says and I watch him. You're sitting here telling us all these things about how you've made all these changes and about how you don't do this and you don't do this and blah, 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 blah. Yet, look at what he ordered sitting at the table, knowing that cameras were rolling, knowing that he was eating with ladies who are in the same program that he is in. If he was willing to eat the amount of food that he was eating and order the types of things that he was ordering in front of them, what does he do when he's on his own? So he's sitting there crying. Then he ends up walking off and leaning over the car with his phone in his hand, crying some more. So Megan goes out to check on him. And y'all, before Megan goes out to check on him, he's like, I mean, making all the sounds. Now, like I know, if you're fair complected, if you have certain undertones, when you cry, you turn red. If I do a lot of crying, I turn red. I get red up in here, in my nose and right here, right? And my eyes redden a little bit. With that being said, I don't buy what Scott did. Megan approaches and he's making the sounds again. I guess he felt like we really needed to hear it. Megan is talking to him, and he says, you know, yeah, I needed to hear it, but, but, I don't, I don't like when people point out my faults. You're making all those sounds, and then the next thing I know, he's fine. Did they edit it out? Did they not show the conversation the right way? Because it doesn't seem like they edited out to me based on the amount of food that the girls had on their plates before he left and when he came back. So he's crying one minute, and then the next minute he's not. And then he's like, you know what? It's all out of love. It's all out of love. People don't judge you by how you fail. They judge you by how you pick yourself back up. So I'm going to go in there. And I'm not going to, hone in on the guacamole. And I'm going to make sure that I don't eat that whole quesadilla. I didn't mean to snort. I said, not him giving us a whole game plan. I'm not buying it. So he comes back down and he sits with the ladies, and Ashley's like, are you okay? And he's like, I had to cry. I just had to cry a little bit. And she's like, that's okay. I cried too. And he's like, I gotta admit that I need to work on people letting people in. And, I know you guys are saying that this stuff out of love, and, I love them, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you. And I just want to thank you for calling me out on my BS. Sounds good, but I don't buy it. And when I say I don't buy it, I mean I really don't buy it. Scott isn't there yet. Not to me. You all tell me what you think, but he's not there to me. Surgery day. So it's time for Vanessa's surgery. I'm so excited for her. The girl sent message to her first thing in the morning telling her congratulations and well wishes. Her sister Jackie, who we haven't seen in a long time, is there with her. She's excited about it finally happening. She says she looks back on how things were and where she was and where she is now. And she's so happy that Megan was losing weight, and how Megan's weight loss motivated her to want it for herself. And now here she is. And not only does she have it, but she's getting to this next step. She gets emotional because she's happy, but she's also scared because this is an elective surgery that could lead in other complications. She's afraid about not waking up. So we see her get there. We see her, put on the gown, and she shows us like some of the lines, and she looks in the mirror and she says, goodbye. Let's take one last look at Betsy May. They show us some blurred out pictures of it, and Vanessa has been carrying around so much excess skin for so long that I cannot begin to imagine how she's done it for as long as she has and remained as positive as she has about it. It looks like she has a whole apron hanging down. It's a lot of skin. So the surgery happens. Unfortunately, they don't let us see any of it. Like, we didn't even get to see a single incision, and that's my favorite part. But Vanessa's skin removal ends up taking 5 hours. She's laying there and she's in a lot of pain. She's wheeled out. She gets in the taxi car with her sister, and she talks about how as she's standing up, she can feel all the different stitches and the pulling and the stuff like that. And she's afraid that her stomach is going to open. And I wonder how long she was in the hospital. Are you telling me that after that major abdominal surgery that she doesn't go to any type of like rehabilitation center, or she doesn't stay in the hospital for a few days or a week or so, that y'all sent her home right away? Because the way she was talking, it seems like she got sent home right away. But you all let me know down below if you know. On to Tina. Tina is another person who I feel like as of right now, time is being wasted upon. It's been a few days since surgery, and she's in a lot of pain. And she's been spending a lot of time in the bed as a result of this. Now, I've watched enough of these shows to know that one of the things that they like them to do is to also get up and to walk around because they don't want clots and things like that to form. And it also helps with the healing process. So Tina, to me, being in the bed is already not a good sign. So she tells us later on that life after surgery has been hard on her because she can't eat like she used to, and she can't stop loving the food that makes her happy. Soon as she said that, I said, she hasn't got enough mental preparation for this either. Because you over here depressed about the food. So at some point, I think it's a couple weeks after her procedure, she meets up with Megan and Scott for some water aerobics. She says she's afraid to be seen in a bathing suit. We see her go and get changed, and she walks out, and I said, this girl is getting on my nerves yet again, because you're sitting here acting like you putting on a bathing suit that's like skin tight where you can see. I shouldn't have did all that. But my point is, like, it's something tight where you can see all of this and all of that, and you can't, because what she had on looks like she's wearing a shirt and a dress, or a shirt and a skirt. And it was nice. It fit her well. I don't get it. Tina says she's depressed because she can't eat like she wants to, and her mom and her husband are eating around her, which if she's like that, then they shouldn't be eating around her. But eating around her, and she just finds herself struggling. She then admits that she ate some burrito, she had some rice, and she had a tortilla. From my understanding, for several weeks after surgery, they are on a liquid diet. If you're on a liquid diet, why are you eating some of the worst things you could possibly eat? Megan looks at her, and Megan says, that could kill you. She says, do you know I didn't even eat rice for an entire year? And even when I did, I was very, very careful about my portion. She's like, look, it takes time to train yourself, and food addiction isn't easy, but you're going to have to find something else to be addicted to, like shopping. I feel like she needs something else other than that too. I'm just not relating to these people. I can't feel sorry for these people who have gotten this one. Is Tina, you got the procedure done, and now you act like you don't want it done. So they get in the water, and they do water aerobics, and they have a ball, and they feel lighter, and they're able to do workouts. I was watching them, and I said, my goodness, I miss water aerobics. The pandemic took a lot from me. I used to love being in the water, and it helped me, keep a decent weight. So, I don't know, I'm thinking about it, but I get nervous even now sometimes. Like, I went to the gym the other day, and it was too many people in there. So, well, it started off right, and then too many people got in there. And then even though there were all these other treadmills beside me that were vacant, somebody gets to, because I try to find ones that are on the ends, somebody gets right beside me. So I left after like 35 minutes because I was so irritated. Because the whole pandemic thing still is a thing, and I don't want to get any of that stuff, right? But I miss the water. So they had a good time. Scott then presents, sorry, I was on a tangent there. Scott then presents Megan with a cat floaty, and they play with that, and Tina talks about how it'll lift her and yada yada go. That's the end of that. I might have repeated some of that because I was so busy talking about my water aerobics. Water Zumba is amazing. Zumba is fun anyways. Add water to it. That's extra resistance. You're talking about a good time and a great sweat. Yes. Scott's counseling session, I may have missed some parts, y'all, but I was really like over it. So Scott goes to meet with Dr. Connie. Dr. Connie specializes in bariatric psychology. She's the same lady that we saw Tammy hang up on a few seasons ago on the computer when she was being counseled. He fills her in on the different stuff that he hasn't been doing and what he has been doing. And she picks up right away that he minimizes what he does, that he likes to act like the little times that he's not doing what he's supposed to do aren't big. But she tells him to just put it out there, to just say, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. She says that The mode of the addict is I want what I want when I want, and we got to get you out of that. She says in order for Scott to treat his addiction, he's going to have to get to the things that are deeper, the things that have caused him to be this person. So he admits he struggles with his relationship with his dad, that it's strained because of divorce and some other things, and that his dad is no longer with us. So I'm assuming that he passed based on the way he's saying that. He said that he often felt like he wasn't good enough. His dad often complained about what he ate and the things he did. Dr. Connie says, you blame yourself for what went wrong with your parents. And I don't like when I hear that children blame themselves for things that happen with adults. He admits that he felt like he wasn't loved. He says that when he was in middle school, he was bullied and it destroyed him. This segment was designed to make us feel sorry for Scott, but I couldn't find myself feeling sorry for him. And I normally do kind of relate in some kind of way to the patients, but I'm just not buying it yet because I still feel like Scott is very much on this mode of, I'm going to say what it is that I think I want you to hear. She then tells him that rejection doesn't just go away because the things that you're talking about sounds like a lot of rejection. I need you to know that just because you lose the weight doesn't mean that the rejection won't still be there. He says he would tell himself he's not good enough. You're always going to keep making mistakes. You're always going to be big and fat, and you're never going to have a relationship. She says, now that sounds honest, which makes me wonder how much of what he was saying before she questioned. She said, so the goal for right now is for you to stop treating yourself badly. You got to say that I'm going to stop rejecting myself by harming myself, meaning he harms himself by the things he does to his body with food. She tells him he's going to have to surrender. He says, yeah, okay, I will. And then he leaves out telling us that he thinks this is giving him the kick in his brain that he needs. And I'm sitting here like, once again, you're saying what sounds good because this one meeting didn't do all of that. I've been in therapy for years. I can tell you most of the time, the first meeting drains the mess out of you. So I don't think that one meeting did that, but we'll see. I could be wrong. We get back to Vanessa. Vanessa is home and she's walking slowly in and she's getting into the bed and we can see how much pain she's in. She even tells her sister, like, you're going to have to wipe me because of how much she has going on. She tells us that she's not allowed to do anything for the next week, that the wrapping does not come off until she goes back to see Dr. Witt. I can't remember his name. The doctor that did her surgery in a week. And then after that, then he'll give her further instructions. She gets in bed and she's in so much pain that she's worried that she busted something. But I don't think she did. I think Vanessa just didn't realize how intense the surgery was. I don't know what she was thinking, but this wasn't no little thing. Like your whole midsection has been chopped and rotated and they've lifted up stuff, skin, and created belly buttons and all of that. That's a lot of work. But you all, if there's something that I missed in this, let me know. Put it down below. Please like the video as it helps the channel and maybe it will get me back in the algorithm. I don't know. Until next time.